For over a century, the name Gonnella has meant freshly baked, delicious bread for food connoisseurs. This video will walk you through the basics of your equipment, the product you will be working with, and basic baking techniques that you will be able to continue to build on during your time as a baker. Here's a general overview of the baking process. Breakout is the term used for taking the frozen dough out of the freezer for the next day's bake. The most efficient way to do this is to have empty pans, pan liners, pans, spray, and empty racks on hand. Pan liners should be labeled with a marker to avoid confusion. It's best to spray each pan liner with pan spray to prevent the dough from sticking once it's thawed. Begin by placing the desired amount of frozen dough on pans and transfer those pans to empty racks. Make sure the frozen dough is no more than 1 layer high and has enough pan space to properly thaw. The frozen dough slowly thaws overnight in a cooler or retarder that is set at 36 to 38 degrees Fahrenheit. Most coolers use air movement as a means of cooling. This air movement will dry the surface of the product and will cause problems during proofing and baking. Placing a rack cover over the rack will prevent this from occurring. Retarding is an important step in preparing frozen dough. Allowing the dough pieces to slowly thaw for 8 to 12 hours helps improve the final product. The thawed dough will be ready for panning or setup when the baker arrives for work the next morning. Each product has a specific panning configuration that will optimize production and product quality. Refer to your specific store's panning instructions for each item. Once products are panned up and placed on a rack, the rack is ready to go into the proof box. Make sure large breads have enough space to proof between pans. The temperature of the proof is usually maintained at 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and the humidity is controlled at 95% to prevent drying or crusting of the dough. Since proofing is a time and temperature relationship, it's hard to determine exact proofing times. Normally, products are considered proofed when they expand about 2.5 times their original size. Under controlled conditions, it will take about 60 minutes for dough products to proof. This time may change based on weather and equipment. When a baked product does not have enough volume or feels heavy and tends to split, it's considered underproofed. When a baked product has too much volume and appears light and collapsed, it's considered overproofed. Make sure products are 2.5 times their original size. It's often best to check the proofer after 45 minutes and add time, rather than overproof and have the product go flat. It's important for bakers to recognize by sight and touch when each product is fully proofed. Remove the dough from the proof area and give it some floor time, about 5 minutes. This floor time will slightly dry the product so that it's easier to score. Scoring means to make cuts on top of the dough. Scoring not only enhances the appearance of the breads and rolls, but also helps release trapped gases inside the dough during the bake. In order to get the best results, use a sharp serrated knife to score the proofed dough. Don't make a straight cut with the knife. Score the dough holding the knife at a 45-degree angle. The cuts should cover the full length of the dough piece, meaning the first cut starts at one end of the dough and the last cut finishes at the other end. The cut should overlap by 1/3 of the length and run almost parallel to the dough piece. It's best to be consistent in length when making multiple cuts in a piece of dough. When the dough is scored, it's ready to go into the oven. Set your oven for temperature, time, and steam when the oven has reached the desired temperature and the timer is set. Open the oven door, put the rack in, close the door, and start the timer. The steam allows for the dough to expand when it is hit with the initial burst of heat, and also helps form a nice, crispy crust. When the timer goes off, check to ensure the bread is fully baked. Look for a golden brown and crispy crust. When the bread is fully baked, remove the rack from the oven. Let cool completely before packaging. If you notice condensation inside the bag, the product has not cooled enough for packaging. These are the basics of your bakery and your new baking skills. Continue on with the Gonnella Bake Shop Series to learn about specific products and techniques. If you have any questions, please call your Gonnella sales representative.